The 722nd episode of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMASGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sportsbook available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And we're brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And finally, we're brought to you by the SGPN College Football Playoff Challenge. Free to enter in a $1,000 grand prize. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP to enter today.
Heidi, ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 722 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to dumb nerd alien the kid 6157, who really want to emphasize the first part of that name, dumb, because he decides to this hill he's going to die on. The Gumby is not good at regional MMA underdogs. Gumby's bad at underdogs and picking regional MMA. So now Gumby has many flaws. He's not without reproach, but that is not one of them. His regional, and this is from YouTube, of course. And the video he complained on, I don't even know if you picked any on it. You picked.
I was just gonna say that it's so funny to me. He was hating on the underdogs, and I'm gonna be honest. When I went over my KSW card, I was like almost upset with myself for not finding any underdogs. And I gave you that Max Holzer underdog on that episode, right? That was the Sunday episode. Yeah. He was plus 100 or like plus 105 when we recorded. Yeah. He's minus 180 right now. Yeah. So if you got in on the underdog, then you're probably sitting on some pretty good CLV. Again, if you want to hate on, like, sometimes we make the picks on every single UFC fight. And, I think I went 8-5 this past weekend on the UFC fight cards and, got a little dog heavy on Clay Guida a few weeks ago. You want to hate on that? Hate on that. You want to hate on the underdogs I hit on regional MMA? There's one place where you can hit me in the YouTube comments where I will try to defend myself. And that's probably it. Because that's my whole reputation. That's everything we do here.
You know how many vacation homes people have bought off of Gumby's regional MMA underdog picks? Many vacation homes. That's Gumby, by the way. Oh, you're also known as the guy in the left. One of the comments. So the guy in the left says it was a Colby. Colby people are easily.
There were a lot of people. I was surprised how many people were defending him because, like, and maybe this is just me not having my finger on like the average fan's pulse because, like, we break down Muradov Professional League from,
I don't know if we still do.
We did, though. Once upon a time, we did. So we're the type of people who break down Samurai Fight House and Muradov Professional League. So we're not your common fan, and maybe I've lost touch with the common fan. But I thought everybody was just like, even before this last fight, off Colby Covington. And I think I'm wrong because there was like some very visceral reactions to my Colby Covington take.
That was before the fight. I don't know if there still is now because most of what we said came true.
Was really true. Yeah, he's like slow and doesn't have good timing, and perhaps looked like maybe he could be fighting a bit more often if he wants to win fights. I don't know that he's gonna fight more often though. Do you think he's going to stop?
I don't know if he's gonna fight ever again. Yeah.
I said that before the Buckley fight though, and he stepped in on short notice here.
Body didn't look good. His face doesn't look good. Like he looks like he's aging quickly. It seems. Yeah, it does.
He's not young.
Like he's not young. Exactly. Anyhow, this isn't a Colby Covington episode. Oh, I missed your $594.75. Jeff Fox, one of your hosts, and that's the guy on the left is gonna be Reland, and that's it. Oh, actually, before we get into what the title says, so we're doing more futures. Futures is fun. And the UFC, this is the only real quote unquote off season we get from the UFC. 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. But as you have learned, MMA doesn't sleep. We got KSW. We got more events coming up next week. Christmas week, we will get you covered. But before we get to the futures, the big news of the day, big heavyweight fight just got announced. The company looks confused. Ryan Spann versus Waldo Cortez Acosta.
I may or may not have talked about this already on the Top Turtle MMA podcast, which is probably in your feeds while you're watching this.
Nice.
If you are a subscriber. Hot take. get ready for this hot take, the hottest of the takes. I think he's going to do great at at heavyweight.
Of course.
I think Ryan Spann is dude. Kennedy and Nzechukwu looks good up there.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't Ryan Spann look good? Also, didn't they share a coach? Aren't they both safe, solid dudes?
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And so, like, maybe Safe with all of his light heavyweights are like, hey, you guys want to go up and beat up some fatties? Yeah. Let's get it done.
Eat some food.
Yeah. They don't even need to eat, though. They're both 240 guys.
Yeah.
You know, like they're both just guys who walk around at 242 or something like that, and like have been killing themselves to cut, and then like kind of have questionable second halves of their fights sometimes. Although I guess Kennedy was kind of better as the fights would go on, but like would have some questionable moments. Dude, now they're just gonna beat up like Martin Boudet and shit like that, and like
Waldo Cortez Acosta.
Yeah, who I think is bad at fighting,
despite being
5-1 in the UFC and possibly should be ranked.
Yeah, see that proves right there that heavyweight is the move. Waldo Cortez Acosta, who's not good, is ranked. Muhammad Usman is winning fights, and he's really not good. So anyhow,
the motor.
This has gotten off the motor. The worst nickname, the most what's the word I'm looking for, Gumby? Anyhow, it doesn't fit him. Is what I'm saying. Unfitting nickname ever. It's good that I struggle with words and I host a podcast. As you see by the title, we're not talking about Colby Covington, but we did. We're not talking about heavyweights, but we did. We're talking about maybe the best. I guess bantamweight's probably the best weight class, right?
We'll hit you with that tomorrow.
Yeah, flyweights is maybe second best, second funnest, maybe. Bantamweights is like flyweights, but with depth.
Basically. Yeah, that's fair. I find more of the flyweight prospects intriguing.
Yeah, for sure, because you know they're going to be buried, and we'll be the only people excited about them. So, all right. That's before we move on to all of that. I have something to tell you, and it's about a contest. We're always running contests. The bosses here are always giving away things to you, and this one is college football related. Which all you Americans, your ears just perked up. Check out SGPN's first annual. So we're gonna do it every year, apparently. College football playoff challenge. Pick sides and totals for every game with a chance to win $1,000. That's a grand prize. Free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. College football playoffs. Such a good name, eh? The college football playoffs, they call it. CFP. Really, really catchy. But I guess that's what it is. So, all right. Better than what they used to do in college football. We're going to talk about flyweights, Gumby. Do you remember? It's Gumby. He just fought. I think this one we won't screw up. We know who the champ is. Do we remember who the champ was at the starting of the year? That's what we screwed up.
Yeah, Pantoja.
Correct. He's been the champ for 529 days. July 8th, 2023. And that's impressive because he's actually probably the most active UFC champ. He's already defended his belt.
No, Panda.
Oh, yeah, right. The golden boy. Yeah. He's one of, we'll say, the most active. He's already defended his belt 3 times, which is impressive. Basically, he fights whoever they put in front of him. It can be up-and-coming guys. It can be veterans like Brandon Royval, up-and-coming Steve Ercik. It can be a brand new guy to the promotion, Kaya Sakura. And he's criminally underrated. Big thing with him is his age. He's 35. So that's just something to keep in mind since we're predicting the future here. We know he's going to be active, all things being equal. He's probably going to get at least a couple fights in this year. He's 34, sorry. But there's no fight scheduled. He did just fight, and we don't know for sure who he's fighting next. So we got all that. Who did we pick to end the year? We both had Pantoja. We hit it, Gumby. Plus 190. That's not bad.
That's actually a great number. I can't believe it was that bad. He's not that good this year. The odds are a little bit worse this year.
Yeah, you want to tell people some odds?
Yeah. Well, shall we run them down? Hang on, I have a little graphic that says, "Look, the odds underneath." That's for marking purposes here. So running down the odds here, I'm gonna hit you with all of the big guys. I guess all the way up to, I think we were going up to like 30-1 on the previous show. So Pantoja is still the odds-on favorite, which kind of makes sense, especially because he just won and we don't know who he's fighting next. Yeah. It's down to plus 100. But I guess maybe we'll talk in a second about whether or not there's value on that. Plus 100 for Alexandre Pantoja. It jumps all the way up to 5-1 for the second pick. So 5-1, Raw Dog Royval at 5-1, and Brandon Moreno and Manel Cape and Kai Kara-France. Yep. So Kai Kara-France, Manel Cape, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, all 5-1. And it seems like, I don't know, flip a coin. It's one of them to fight next.
Yeah.
I guess that you can make arguments for each of them.
It was Roy Val. Sorry to interrupt. It was Roy Val, it seemed, but that may have changed after the last fight. After Manel Cape and all the noise. But then Dana, it seemed like he was interested. But
I think after losing to Mokaev in the fight prior in like the biggest snooze fest and having weight problems, I think they got to make him fight one more time. Yeah. And then after that, we got plus 750. We got Tagira Lambakov. We got Kaya Sakura. I don't think he's getting a rematch, but he's 8-1. Tetsura Taira, fresh off his loss, 15-1. Amir Albazi, fresh off his loss, 30-1. And then we got Nicolau and Alex Perez both at 35-1. So I suppose the best place to start here is we should talk about who's the best play here.
Basically every flyweight and almost every bantamweight there's odds for this unnamed sportsbook.
Dude, I have to say, I gotta say this unnamed sportsbook, which we can't say on air because we're sponsored by a sportsbook and we don't want to. Dude, they have names on here that they're clearly trying to goad you into being like, well, maybe, because I'm seeing 10,000-1 on Tyson Nam. And before you all run out there and stick a quarter on him, he's fighting kickboxing now, and I don't even think he fights MMA, and he's certainly not in the UFC. We got Jeff
a quarter meaning like 25,000, right?
Yeah, like 25 cents.
Oh.
And then we got Jeff Molina at 700-1, and by all accounts, he's still suspended for that gambling scandal. For at least as well as I can see. Is Mokaev in there? I bet you Mokaev.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
But do you know who is
the long shot I would like to put a bet down on? Is Mokaev.
Maybe that's why they're not offering. Nate Manis is 250-1. That dude's bare knuckle boxing right now, so that's fun. So none of these, needless to say, are our best bets. I'm gonna make you go first on flyweight because first of all, I already know what you're gonna say.
I don't know what I'm gonna say. So okay, good. Maybe you know.
You got $100. You got to stick it on one of these guys. Who you sticking on?
For the record, there's according to Wikipedia, there's 45 UFC flyweights currently, and there's 48 names on the list of the sports book. So, and the rankings I do at Money MMA, substack.com, I have 40. Yeah, I have around 45 as well. I only count fighters that are actually active. So Jeff Molina is not on my list. Ellen Nascimento is not on my list. Those type of people. All right. After I always say how criminally underrated Pantoja is, but I do expect him to lose. He's bound to lose. Just the age. The age is a real concern.
You think it's going to catch him?
The age, and he's been in a lot of wars. It's not like he fights safe. It doesn't get hit.
Well, the Asakura fight, he kind of fought.
That was safe. Yep. But often, he will eat a bunch to do what he wants to do. He's fought 34 times already.
So then you got to draw me a plan here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
He's going to get one of these guys to a title shot, and who he could lose.
That's the key. Now he has fought since he got the belt. He's fought twice a year. So we got to think probably like they seem to run him out every 3 months or so. We got to think early spring probably.
I would say, I'm going to say he fights. I'm going to say he fights March, then like maybe August, September. And depending on how desperate they are for a main event, wouldn't be surprised to see him in December again. So definitely, we'll say 2.5 title defenses for him.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, like I said, if Alex Pereira is not available, then they turn to Pantoja. Seems to be the second person they turn to if Pereira is not available. Manel Cape, is that who you thought I was going to say? Plus 500.
It's not. I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to chalk me up here. I thought you were going to say
no. I think it's eventually going to catch up to him. And Cape is the type of guy who could make it catch up to him with that power, and he's so fast.
As long as he fights like he did the last
yes,
fight.
Exactly. Yeah. Now I think he's going to get himself a title shot. If not next, then you got to think he's one fight away. I think they should strike while the iron's hot, especially at flyweight. They tend to not, give people slow builds. They Steve Ersic got a title shot almost immediately. Kaya Sakura got a title shot immediately. So there's no reason to slow play Manel Cape. He's a lightning rod, lightning rod of controversy. He's exciting in the cage. And it's more not that he's a super young guy either. He's in his 30s by now, I'm sure at least. I think he's like 30. I'm gonna check. It's exciting. 31. So he's not exactly a spring chicken, but I don't see any of the other like truly young guys. The Tessera Tyras.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of them.
Yeah, those guys, Josh Van. I don't see those guys getting up to the title shot. At least not this year. Obviously, in the future, I see that happening. So, yeah, that's my reason to give me Manel Cape. I'm not putting even money. I'm not Pantoja. Maybe if he was plus 190 again, but not at plus 100.
So my pick for best bet, which first of all, by the way, I do want to commend you on being persuasive there, because originally I was kind of writing off Manel Cape, but you make a good point. Like, he has
usually I don't.
Interesting path. Yeah, usually you give me a take and I think it's garbage. But that was convincing. Like, I can hear. I like him. At least now, after you talking, I like him now more than I like Raw Dog, or I like any of those other guys. Especially because it's like
we've seen those guys, so why?
Well,
actually, Cape, we've seen Cape too.
We've seen Cape too, but not the good Cape. We saw the bad Cape in that fight. I would say if I have $100, I got to put it on one of these guys. I'm going to put it on Pantoja. I think he retains. I truly believe in him as being one of the best 5 fighters in the world right now. You know, I really do think men, women, any weight class. I think you can't come up with 5 fighters.
Well, let's count them down.
Pantoja would be only worse than
Islam,
Pereira, John Jones.
Yeah, I guess.
I hate saying it, but John Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that it?
I think that might be it.
Merab, not yet, because
I would say not Merab.
How about Ilya? Ilya?
Maybe Ilya. Okay, I'll say maybe Ilya. So like 3.5 for sure. But like, I'd put him in the same token as Ilya. Yeah. Ilya is more devastating.
Yeah.
Ilya is like scarier, but like, is he better than Pantoja? I mean, the pound for pound discussion is always kind of silly, but like, I don't know that he's better than Pantoja. So I'm gonna go for my best bet, Pantoja here.
Hey, the man hasn't lost since July of 2020, so you know, nothing wrong with betting on him winning again, and he's already beaten Cape, Roybal, all the names we mentioned: Perez, Moreno, Roybal, Usyk, Asakura. He's beaten them all already, so he's proven that he can do it. So, Chalky Gumby. Chalky Gumby. All right, before we should we finish one up? What time are we at?
No. You get after those. You get after those.
Let me tell you some important things. Underdog Gumby. Well, like, technically he took an underdog, but not really. I took the big underdog. We're both in on Underdog Pick'em though. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all sports. You can win up to 1,000 times with Underdog streaks. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And you can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Gumby is going to give us a play right now. Maybe Al Horford related, if we're lucky.
No, well, kind of Al Horford related. I'm going to take the higher than on the rebounds for Nikola Vucevic in their game with the Celtics tomorrow. That's on Thursday. He had a down game last game out against the Raptors, where he got busy with the scoring, but not so busy on the boards. And I think the fact that he only had 5 rebounds last time out should draw that number down a little bit, and we shall exploit it as it is down.
Yeah, he's pretty reliable for the rebounds. So sign up with our code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first sign deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That will be underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And we're brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a new social sportsbook available in 45 states. There are plenty of betting opportunities available on Rebet. Easy to use and great for people in states where traditional sportsbooks may be restricted. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. All right. Well, if you were handicapping this, what would you have put Pantoja's odds at?
I probably would have gone a little high. Like, I might have put him 150, but I wouldn't have put him much farther off that. Because, like, to me, if you look at how he entered last year, there were more doubts surrounding him last year than this year. And he's a year older. But he also just, like, toasted a few guys this year. So, like, why wouldn't I come into this year with a little bit more confidence than I even had the year prior? So that's sort of my take. Now, this is the part where we get into that people love and people find lots of fun, and that is the long shot. So Manel Cape already, like, usually we look for somebody in like the middling level, and we usually parlay or talk a little bit around people in the middle level. You kind of already did that.
He's what, tied for the second
that's true. I guess he's second. But is there anybody in that middling level, a little bit deeper than him, that interests you in any way, shape, or form before we get to like big, long, crazy ones?
How about Joshua Van plus 6,000? Just because he's explosive and has the power, and he's young. I don't think he's going to get a title shot this year, but he's the type of guy that makes big moments happen in his fights. And, you don't need a heck of a lot to get a title shot in flyweight because it is fairly thin. And just the fact that we don't know who's going to get the next title shot too means things are kind of up for grabs in the division. So his name jumps out. I don't think it's likely in 2025, but
I actually
plus 6,000, I guess.
You know what a fan of Joshua Van I am. Like, I am a huge fan of him.
And it rhymes too.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Van. I couldn't believe how high or low those odds are. He did just lose not that long ago. And now, granted, he bounced back with a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then sitting right next to him. So this is the one I think is like the most interesting in that like middling 4 digits lane. I kind of like also Almabayev, the Uzbek fighter.
Mm-hmm.
UFC hasn't been, like, I know they like people from, that Russia region, the former Soviet satellites, or I don't know if that's a former Soviet satellite. Now I feel bad saying that. But
they like their abs and their offs.
They're Eurasia regions. And like, but they don't necessarily promote it as much at flyweight. It seems like the lighter weight of those EV, AV names typically work a little slower. But he did just beat Matthews Nicolau, and he's 70-1. He's actually $10 more, or $10 cheaper than we get here on Joshua Van, which is kind of surprising to me. I think in terms of if you're going for like, something that's kind of like a fun middling level play there, also Almabayev is probably just 1 or 2 wins away. Like, he's got to get, I mean, if he just beat Nicolau, you got to imagine he's like, destined for something a little bit better than that. Like something in the Kai Kara France range, or the Kai Asukara range. Like,
they brought him along pretty good. Osborne, Vergara, Jose Johnson, Nicolau. There's 4 wins in the UFC, and he's 4-0. They're big on people undefeated in the UFC, so that's a big thing.
And he has quality wins even before coming to the UFC too, right? He beat Zach Makovsky, who's always been, like a UFC plus, or regional plus level guy. So that one sticks out to me. Now, do you want to do? Should we get real crazy? Should we go down into the lottery pick range?
Yeah, you can use some massive numbers, obviously. Like,
we mentioned Tyson Nam at 10,000-1.
All right, let me see.
We're not getting on Tyson Nam, but I want you to take us down your route. Somebody you could envision all the way down in the like crazy numbers that you could hold a lottery ticket to and draw a path for them getting and winning a title shot.
Actually, now that I think about who I may like more than Joshua Van's, Ray Tsuruya. I can't say his name.
150-1 on him.
Yeah.
No, and he's got a fight booked, but the only thing that would slow me down on him, like, right, if we're gonna convince ourselves that one of these lottery tickets is worth our while.
Yeah.
You have to like be able to draw that path for him. And like the best way to like, especially if I was going to do like also Almabayev, like the best path to victory for him is to just have a big name fight in like March, right? To beat somebody who they gave him a big step up against.
Yeah.
Did you know that Ray Tsuruya already has a fight booked for this year?
Stuart Nickel. Who
Australian guy who I was high on until I watched fight in the UFC, and then I was like, why does he fight like that? Against good people. So, like that might be slow him down a little bit. That's probably why he's 150.
Well, UFC Japan, they could very easily. He is Japanese. That's the main. And plus the fact that he's I think, is he undefeated overall too? He's undefeated in the UFC. He's undefeated. He was in the Olympics too. Was he not? Is this the guy? Am I thinking the right guy? Was he the Olympic wrestler or just a world class level wrestler?
I think world. But I could be wrong.
And the fact that they are still desperate for. Actually, not still. It's renewed. The fact they want to get into Japan, but I don't see it happening this year. He's already fought a couple times in the UFC. Once on the road, 2 of them. Once in the cage. But anyhow, that name jumped out. But that's not really a massive.
Hey, can I just point out too, because I want to draw attention back to also Almabayev. He's only 2 spots lower in the rankings right now than Manel Kape.
Oh, there you go.
Manel Kape 6, also Almabayev 8. Fresh matchup, basically the same ranking. You get one at 5. You get one at 5-1, one at 70-1.
Apparently, the UFC doesn't put up with headaches at the flyweight division too. So Manel Cape, hopefully he's learned from. Mokaev would be the long shot I would put money on. I don't see his name here because I can very easily see him.
Well, it's probably because they don't know how to line it, because there's like a 50-50 chance that the UFC changes their mind and loves him again, and a 50-50 chance he's exiled to a Jordanian promotion.
Yeah, especially if Cape wins, I could definitely see them bringing Mokaev back to fight him for the belt, because there's some bad blood there. All right, I'm going down. Most of these, like you said, a lot of these guys aren't even in the UFC anymore.
That's my favorite part of this exercise with you.
Felipe Bunez plus 70,000. He's okay. But yeah,
I'm gonna give you two that I think are better than that. So and I like Felipe Bunez, star of the Top Turtle MMA podcast once upon a time. What about Clayton Carpenter?
Sure.
I think his biggest obstacle is that I think he's incredibly boring on the mic. But right now he's 250 to 1. And he's got a fight booked with Tagir Ulanbekov, who right now is ranked number 11 in the UFC. If he comes out in the very first pay-per-view of the year and like just starches number 11, finds himself in like, the top 7 or 8 right then, we're probably talking about one more fight away. You could see him fighting like a, Manel Cape or a Kai Kara-France. And then like, maybe he's the guy who gets next December's title shot. I can see that. And then the other one I'm going to throw at you, and you wouldn't expect
if I catch it or not.
Wouldn't expect me to have said this a year ago.
Macy Barber.
No, Macy Barber.
He's a flyweight. Go ahead.
What about Charles Johnson? What about
he's on a roll. And
dude,
he's interesting.
And you mentioned being interested in Joshua Vance. Joshua Vance got knocked out by him 500 to 1 on energy. He was one of 3 fighters to go 4-0 in the new year, which is pretty crazy. That only, first of all, that 3 fighters went 4-0 in the UFC, and that he's one of them. 4-0 in the UFC, clearly do a step up. Coming off of a big knockout of a highly touted prospect, like put him in there with somebody good. Let's see what he can do. 500 to 1. So, should we? I mean, we're almost.
I like Gummy's pick better than mine.
Yeah.
I forgot Felipe Bunez is 35. He's even older than the champ.
Somebody's backpedaling on Bunez.
All right. But who I really want is Mokaev. All right. Before we wrap things up, let me tell you about mybookie.ag. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years. Check out the new and improved website. It's great on mobile. Plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. Even new early cash out options are available. Check out all the MMA lines over there. And when you do, at mybookie.ag, make sure you use our promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds, get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models for the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build you a model. You can now track your props in the Rhythm app, NFL picks, NFL props, college football, college basketball, and NBA. Rhythm has it all. Check out the Al Horford props, naturally. I'm not going to forget to say that. Don't worry. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. All right.
You want to wrap this baby up with me doing a little recap here of the ones we saw were our favorites?
Yeah, actually, one I forgot. I didn't mention any scheduled fights because there really is no.
There's the Clayton Carpenter
scheduled. There's no like ranked. There's no. I guess he's ranked, right?
Tagir is number 11. And Clayton is like, chomping at the bit to steal the number 11. So like,
but there's no massive. Okay, if this guy wins, he's in the title picture.
Right. He's still probably 2 fights away, regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So with that being said, the fact that there are probably no fights here, let's run down what we said. For our best bets, Jeff had Manel Cape plus 500, which I kind of got around to. I had Alexandre Pantoja to retain for the entirety of the year, plus 100. In the middling level ones, the ones that, if you're trying to throw a dart and catch a little lightning in a bottle, the ones we like on that one. Also Amabayev, 70 to 1. He kind of likes Ray Tatsura, 150 to 1. Those are our middling level ones. We did mention Joshua Van, but that loss to Charles Johnson, probably a little bit of a thorn in his side, but he is exciting. And then last but not least, our lottery tickets for this one. lottery tickets. We're going to go Clayton Carpenter plus 250. 250 to 1
times
rather.
250.
Yeah, times 250. Charles Johnson, 500 times your money. And then, of course, he loves Felipe Bunes. We want to make sure we tie him to that.
He wears a funny hat sometimes. That's
it's
cool.
a sick hat. 700. And he's a fun guy to talk to. So plus 700 to 1, Felipe Bunes. Put Chalk's name down for that one.
I like your Johnson one. That I got you around on Cape. You got me around on Johnson. That's
and again, like, are we saying this is probable? And we always have to caveat this because we said this on the ladies episode. We're going to say tomorrow on the band.
And people were in the comments respectfully saying, "I don't think that's going to happen." Well, it's a long shot.
It's 500 to 1. That's what it's there for. Yeah. But like, you mean to tell me, like, guy loves to fight. He can't rattle off 3 fights before July and like win all of them and be on a 7-fight win streak? There are not a lot of guys on 7-fight win streaks that they don't give a title shot to. And his boxing is just good enough that, like, who knows? Maybe he could surprise a bunch of people. He surprised us against Van.
He surprised us when he opens his mouth too. He's got interesting takes. So
yeah, he's an interesting cat.
Yeah, he's got that awesome duck bill thing in the back of his hair.
They call it a skullet.
Oh, do they? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, that's fine. So okay, Gumby, you got the pencil. You are booking flyweights in 2025. Just the top of the division. What are you doing?
Oh, just one of them?
No, not just one of them. Just the top of the division type fight. So, like, who's Pantoja fighting next? Who's fighting for #1 contender spot? Who's going to fight?
I mean, I think I just booked Pantoja versus Roy Vol one more time. I don't know why. It just seems like his last fight kind of deserves it. And then you put Manel Cape in there with, Brandon Moreno, who looked really good in his last fight too. And then just see if he can take out like one of the top guys. So I think little mini tournament with those 4.
Same card. Or, or have one, like have the Moreno one headline a fight night
around
the same time. Yeah. Cool. I'm down for it. Hopefully UFC is listening to Gumby. Apparently they do listen to you. So we shall see. Maybe the best division tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is bantamweight the best division in your eyes?
It's most exciting right now.
Yeah. I always get, like I said, it's flyweight with depth and bit more crazy power from some of these guys too. So we shall break that down very shortly for you people. In the meantime, we are in the Discord. MMA never sleeps, and neither does the Discord. People are studying tape for KSW currently, KSW 101, which is going down on Friday. So if you haven't listened or watched those episodes, they were the past couple before this one. So check that out. Actually, couple back. We did women's title shots, title futures. You know what I'm trying to say. Last episode, but hopefully you've already consumed all that. Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox Writer. The comments are always open on, for better and worse, on a YouTube channel, MMA Gambling Podcast. My Substack is always open. Thank you. For some reason, I keep getting subscribers, so I guess someone loves me. moneymma.substack.com. I will keep churning out the content until the UFC actually is up and running again. Gumby will always be doing the Top Turtle as well every week. He just told you it dropped this week, probably right now if you check your feeds. Who is on it this week?
We talked to Will F. in Fleury, who is fighting for the Octagon light heavyweight title. And then we also talked to Cecily Bolander, who just came off of a really good fight with Lucy Pudilova and will also be fighting on the Octagon year in the end card.
There you go. Octagon is the place to be. All right. So you're set with the Top Turtle. And of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get yourself some bonus content. We shall be back tomorrow with probably the best division in the UFC. We've decided what nicknames are we going to go with. Let's find some good flyweight nicknames. The Cannibal Jeff Fox will be here tomorrow, as will Starboy Gumby Breathe, and we shall talk to you then. Bye.